Welcome to the virtual doll convention and my doll room here in Appleton, Wisconsin. And my name is Cheri Miller, and I'm very honored and pleased today to share my doll room with you. So before we kind of look at some of the dolls, I want to tell you that I started doll collecting actually as a teenager. And this was all because of a wonderful woman in Algoma, Wisconsin. She was a minister's wife, and her name was Mrs. Gray. And we didn't have a lot of money. We had a farm, and my mom and dad had 7 children. The first of us were girls. And after a long week of haying, Mom would take us for an ice cream cone. And one time we happened upon the Algoma Doll Show. And my mom brought us, and there we met Mrs. Gray. And I was just enamored by all those doll faces and all of the wonderful people who were there with their doll collections. And Mrs. Gray was so kind to us. Here we were probably in our hay baling clothes, these little urchins. And she'd always, every summer we'd go and she'd acknowledge us. She even gave us some dolls. She gave us this little ragamuffin. And she, of course, needs help. I received her when I was about 12 years old from Mrs. Gray, but she was the first doll I ever had that from a collector standpoint, and one that I really treasure. Well, I collect mostly I collect mostly hard plastic and compo dolls, but I made that bisque oopsie because now I do have a few bisque dolls sneaking into my collection. I'm so fortunate that when we moved to this house, my husband said that this area of the house, this room, could be for my doll collection, but he said all dolls stay in the doll room. Well, don't tell him, but some dolls are now sneaking out. I used to have a house where I had dolls scattered all over. Most of my dolls are in the doll room where we are right now. A couple are sneaking out. Don't tell my husband. So let's look at some of, we're going to scan my doll room, but also I'm going to highlight some of the real stars of my doll collection. So we'll start right here with this nice built-in case. I'm so fortunate that we have these cases built in to this doll room, and it is climate controlled. So a lot of nice hard plastic and composition dolls here in this first case, along with some props. One of the highlights I feel from this area of the doll room is this Horseman Bright Star doll. She is truly like she just came out of a 1930s or 1940s doll factory. She is composition. She has her beautiful little yellow gown here, her hang tag, hair is perfect, bow, shoes and socks are original. She truly looks like she's a new doll, but we know she is very old, and I just love her. I even have the box for this doll. So one of the highlights of my doll room collection. Another highlight would be these Madame Alexander Dion Quintuplet dolls. And I'm kind of fascinated with multiples because I myself am the mother of multiples. So these are the Dion Quintuplet dolls. I don't collect a lot of baby dolls, but these have always appealed to me. So when I found this set, I could not pass them up. They have all original clothes. They're tagged, they have their original pins, shoes and socks, and I just find this little wagon they're in just charming. They even have their names embossed on the front. So I just love these little Dion Quintuplet babies. And then I have other Quintuplet dolls and some Princess Elizabeth dolls also made by Madame Alexander. Now, I don't collect Barbie. I played with Barbie well into being a teenager. I had 4 younger sisters, so I always could play with dolls and feign that I was playing with them, but I was really playing myself. I don't have any Barbies in my collection except these 2. These I acquired from an elderly couple in Clintonville, Wisconsin, who ran a travel business, and these dolls were in their window. And I'm surprised they're not more faded. So we, of course, have Ken as the pilot, Barbie as the stewardess, and now we know that we have lots of males as flight attendants and lots of females as pilots. But back then, this is how these dolls were produced. So the two Barbies in my collection. One of my favorites is collecting black dolls. And this is a pride and joy. This is Cynthia by Madame Alexander. I just love her yellow dress, the yellow bow in her hair, shoes with yellow socks, and I just love her. She is truly a star in my doll collection and is a very special doll to me. Now, to complement my doll room, I also collect different toys and different props. And I have the Tippet game from when I was a little kid, my favorite game. Now, I don't have any of my toys from when I was a child. With 6 younger brothers and sisters, toys just do not survive. I will point out 2 items that are from my family heritage a little later in our tour. I also like doll furniture, so I found this beautiful doll dresser at a thrift shop, actually. And I just love how it looks with my doll collection. I don't have a lot of boy dolls in my collection, but I do have Douglas Macarthur, and he is really a special doll. I bought him from the original owner. This man's wife had gotten her husband this doll after he came back from World War II. And I guess he's unique because when I looked him up, a lot of these dolls don't have their belts or their ties or their original shoes. But Douglas here looks like he's ready for military meetings, all complete in his original outfit. And I love Madame Alexander dolls, so here are 2 Wendy Anns that are all original, standing next to each other. One in a darling pink dress, and one in a light blue dress. Another boy doll I have in my collection is this Cutie Pie, a composition Skippy doll. Now, I said I was the mother of multiples. I did not have 5 children at one time like Mrs. Dion did. I had twins. And my twins are Megan and Michael. They're now in their early 30s. And they were blondes, or are blondes with blue eyes. So I have a lot of twin dolls in my room. We'll be meeting more of those shortly. But these are the American Girl Bitty Baby twins, which I just thought are adorable. So in honor of my twins, they are in my doll room. Moving on, I have this little desk that I bought. At the last auction my dad and I were able to go to together before he became too infirm. He loved auctions and I did too. I bought this little darling desk, child's desk, and I now have it here in this alcove of my doll room. Okay, now, when I was a little girl, we didn't have a lot of toys, farm kids, lots of kids, so I never had a doll I really wanted, and it was the Mattel Chatty Cathy. When I saw TV commercials for Chatty, I thought, oh my goodness, I love her. Well, I never got one, and every Christmas I would go to an acquaintance's house, and she had a Chatty Cathy. And every Christmas I fell for the same line. She'd say, do you want to hold my Chatty? And she'd hold it out to me, and I would reach out my arms and say, yes, yes. And she would pull it back and say, well, you can't. So I never got to have a Chatty, and I never got to hold one as a little girl. But for that reason, I don't collect a lot of vinyl dolls, but I do have some Chatty Cathy dolls in my collection. Only one of them works, the rest are mute, but I don't mind. I just love her little freckled face and her open mouth with teeth and her cute little outfits. I can't tell you how much my dolls have helped me during the pandemic. You know, I am a very social person. I like to go out and be with other people, but things like the virtual doll convention and different social media groups with dolls have really kept me from getting depressed. And I recently bought Giggles here in the box. She is another vinyl doll. I like her little 70s outfit there, the colors, and I don't know, but when I look at her face, I giggle. So when I was feeling a little down during the pandemic, Giggles joined my doll collection. I need shoes for her, but otherwise she's neat because she's in the original box. Next, another doll of interest in my doll collection is Sarah Lee. Now, back when Eleanor Roosevelt was around, she and a famous author and a social worker thought that black girls should have dolls that look like them. And so they developed the Sarah Lee doll. They worked with the Ideal Company. I don't think this doll is an original outfit. She is hard to find, so I have her in this outfit. Sadly, the Sarah Lee did not sell very well, so not a lot were made. But I just think she is a darling little baby doll. One of the things I love about doll collecting is meeting the people. And many, many years ago, I met a man who was sad because he was closing his antique business. And he was kind enough to sell me this store display unit. And it needed work, and we were fortunate because across the street from us at that time lived a man named Rick, who is truly the world's greatest woodworker. This guy can make anything and make it look great. So he helped me and he refinished it for me and did some rebuilding. So for years I've had this doll case, and I really like displaying my dolls in it. Some are behind glass, some are on the top of the shelf, and then down here I put little props and favorite children's books. One of my favorite children's books was Cherry Ames Student Nurse. So a lot of doll patterns and different books and little items are on that part of this doll shelf. Let's look at some of the dolls in my doll case. I really love the R&B Debutine doll, so I have several of those. And then boy dolls, I have two Buddy Lees. Of course, Buddy Lee was an advertising doll made by the Lee Company, and he would stand in stores and promote the Lee jeans and the other Lee clothing, and those two are in the original outfits. Some additional dolls, both composition and hard plastic, that live in the case that Rick was so kind to make for me or fix for me. And of course the dolls I have on display on top of the case. Now you might notice I love dolls with braids. Look at this Polly Pigtails by Madame Alexander. Isn't she great? Look at her vivid face, those big eyes, face paint, the braids. She even has her tag, so a favorite of mine. Some twin girl dolls, also with braids. My sister is an infectious disease control nurse, so definitely an essential worker, and I am very proud of her. So I have a couple nurse dolls in my collection. This doll kind of looks like Leanne, blonde hair and blue eyes. She is wearing a vintage dress though. I love green, and I just love the fabric of this dress. So she is wearing an old-fashioned looking nurse cap and nurse dress here in honor of my sister Leanne. Now, we come to another corner of the doll room. Behind this buggy, you might be able to see this mint in box black Patty Play Pal by the Ideal Company. She has never been removed from the box. She has the cellophane around her, and I just think she's beautiful. Then in this case, I have another nurse doll, Miss Cheri, to honor Leanne. My sister-in-law works for the Department of Defense, and she was assigned to Europe several times, and my family and I were so lucky that we were able to visit her there. And I love Germany. My heritage is German, so I fell in love with the Kathy Cruz dolls. And again, you see the braids. I was a teacher for many years. I just love the schoolgirl dresses on these four sisters. They have their tags, and I just love Kathy Cruz dolls. Now, up here, you can see that shelves keep going in. Like I said, my dolls are escaping, but I'm trying to fill this room up as much as possible. But up here I have some Nancy Ann storybook dolls. I collect the bisque Nancy Ann storybook dolls. I don't care for the hard plastic, but I just love their little faces. And again, what attracts me to a doll are the faces and the fashion. I really like clothes, and I just think the little crisp fashions on these Nancy Ann storybook dolls are so charming. So I've added several of those to my collection. And then I love green, and I was once at an antique mall, and I couldn't pass up this little metal kitchen set here in green. Not perfect, but it really looks nice up there, along with the Nancy Ann storybook dolls. So I've also recently gotten into composition Shirley Temple dolls. This doll is a doll that I purchased from a gentleman whose wife had passed away, and this was her childhood doll, and they didn't have any children, and he was just tickled that I was going to take good care of Shirley and keep her in my doll room. She has flirty eyes, an all original dress and bow in her hair. Her wig's in pretty good shape, and I just love the Shirley dolls. Up here, you might see several more Shirley dolls. Now, I said that as the oldest of 7, my childhood toys did not survive except one item, and it is this doll, or this cupboard. My dad made this for us. When I remember playing with it, like when I was 3 and 4 years old. We had it upstairs in our farmhouse, and being the doll collector, my siblings were kind enough to let me take Dad's creation, and I just love it, thinking Dad made that with his own hands, and he was such a busy guy with a huge farm and all these kids, but that he had a chance to make that for us really is special. And the other thing that survived my history and survived longer even than this cupboard is my Aunt Doris and my mom's little table and chair set. They are refinished, but this furniture are things that my aunt and mom had in the 30s and played with, so special to have those items in my doll collection. Now, I talked about twin dolls. Here are a boy and girl set of twin dolls in their original layette. And up here, these are 2 interesting dolls. Now, they're newer. They're porcelain, but probably some of the most special dolls in my collection. My twins, coincidentally, are named Meg and Mike and have blonde hair and blue eyes. And when they were babies, I came upon an ad in a ladies' magazine advertising Meg and Mike, and I thought, I have to have these. Well, I put the advertisement in a pile of papers, and I was so busy as the mom of twins, I didn't get back to the pile until like 6 years later and these dolls were no longer available. The magazine had even ceased publication. Well, one Christmas Eve when my twins were in 7th grade, they were eager to give me my present. And I thought, this must be really special. Well, they went on eBay and found the Meg and Mike dolls and gifted those to me that Christmas. So, extra special twin dolls in my collection. Now, I love black dolls, and one of my favorites is the black Chatty Cathy in her all original clothes. She doesn't work, but that's okay. I just love her. I bought her at a Madison auction, and she was kind of a sleeper. I was really nervous about how much I might have to pay for her, but it wasn't too bad, so I cherish her. And I have an array of other black dolls. I love the Addie doll. Of the American Girl doll group, Addie is my favorite. So again, a little more modern vinyl doll, but I do have some Addies in my collection, and I really like those. And then some special, unique, or rare dolls in my collection are the Madame Alexander Mother and Me dolls. And these aren't completely original. Their shoes and socks are replaced. But back in the day, you could actually find dolls through newspaper classified ads. Those times are gone. But I found those from the original owner in Ripon, Wisconsin. And she had taken really good care of them, as you can see. And she even had with the dolls a huge group here of original tagged outfits for the Mama and Me dolls. So I have that displayed with them. I do love Tony dolls. We'll get into those shortly. And then this is an interesting doll up here. Never give up on your hunts. Okay, so I love hunting for dolls, and I love the people I meet. Well, one Saturday afternoon around 2:30, I found a rummage sale. And I thought, what's going to be at a rummage sale at 2:30 on a Saturday? Something told me to drive into the driveway. And when I did, I saw this doll. And I was fascinated by it because it's so unique. And I asked the gal who was selling it, and it turns out that this was her aunt's doll, and her aunt was the head of the OB unit at St. Elizabeth's Hospital. And this doll, I think, is made by Martha Chase and was used to train young dads and moms on how to diaper and do other care for their baby. In the back, in fact, it is signed OB St. Elizabeth's Hospital. So a very unique doll, you know, maybe not the most attractive doll in the world, but it's local history for me because he comes from a local hospital here in Appleton. This is a doll I recently added to my collection. Again, I was blessed to go to Europe a couple times when Beth was assigned there for the Department of Defense. I just love it, and I love plaid. So I recently found this Italian doll with her original box, and again, I love her side-glancing eyes and her black hair and her outfit. Kind of reminds me of an old-fashioned schoolgirl outfit. Okay, rounding the corner here, when I was little, my mom would give me and my 4 younger sisters Tony perms so that we would have cute pin curls to wear under our chapel veils for Sunday Mass. And I just remember those Tony perms, even though the solution smells so bad, it was just kind of fun to have Mom's attention and sit on our stools and have her give us those Tony perms. So I have become enamored with the Tony dolls. Like I said, I collect dolls because of their faces and their fashion. And I just find the faces on the Tony dolls to be wonderful. I love the face color, the eyes, and again, You know, most of them are in schoolgirl type dresses. So I have a variety of Tony items here, even the box for the Tony Play Wave. And I recently found the Tony doll paper dolls at an estate sale. And these are really cool because they're uncut, and I don't think too many of these were made, but they have just wonderful fashions that you can dress the Tony paper doll with. So kind of cool. I love it. And my newest obsession is the Dewey's Cochrane doll. And I have 4 of them, and I just love them. They're hard to find, but probably the star of that grouping is this Cindy doll made of Vultex with painted eyes. And again, she's not all original. She has a replaced dress and probably replaced shoes and socks, but I just love her. I read the book by Dewey's Cochrane called As If They Might Speak. And this is an autobiography of Dewey's, and what kind of got me turned on to the dolls. And you can see the realistic features on these Dewey Cochrane dolls. It's really as if they might speak. She sculpted these based on the faces of real children, and I just love their realistic look, and I love everything about them. So Dewey's Cochrane dolls seem to be entering the doll room of late. And then in this case, I have a variety of dolls. I love the Madame Alexander Tiny Bettys, and they are just so cute with their littlest little pink pastel outfit. I even love their box, the flowered box with the neat colors. This doll I received or purchased at an estate sale, and she even has a ribbon, Madame Alexander Doll Club Convention, Savannah, Georgia, 2003, first place. I think she deserved first place, don't you? So I did come upon several Tiny Bettys of late. This is another one. She's not quite as minty as the first one I showed you, but I think she needs to be with her sister. So I have a couple Tiny Bettys, some in box, some not. And then if you saw the recent movie, Little Women, I have the Madame Alexander Little Women dolls, along with some other little dolls, some twin boy-girl twin dolls by Vogue, our darling. And then not all my dolls have great value, but I love clothes, I love green, and I recently came upon this deluxe reading candy fashion set. And again, is it worth a lot of money? No. Back in the day, it was probably considered a grocery store doll, but I really like the mannequins and how they show the clothes that Candy can wear, her heels and her sunglasses and her purse. So again, not a lot of money, but the faces, the fashion, and this ensemble really called my name. So here we're kind of coming to the end of the doll room tour, but before we leave, I have this little corner. As the oldest of 7 and living on a farm, I had a lot of chores as a little girl, and one of my favorites was doing the family laundry. I love working with clothes, and I even like laundry today, and I can get a stain out of just about anything. But I have collected over the years, we have this little urchin here from Mrs. Gray, we'll pick her up, but I have collected over the years a lot of different laundry toys, laundry machines, some little ironing boards, and irons. And then my grandma, we didn't have a lot of money when my parents first started having children. So my grandma Junior was an expert seamstress, and she made clothes for us out of feed sacks. And I love those clothes. I felt like I was Laura Ingalls Wilder from Little House on the Prairie. And so I have some doll dresses here or maybe little girl dresses made out of vintage fabric. And then these 4 dolls up here, you know, they're not perfect, They're certainly showing their age with some cracking and crazing. But again, the vintage dresses remind me of Grandma's junior sewing for us. And I just think the four of them look adorable here on this little white windowed shelf. So that's my doll room. I want to thank you so much for visiting here today with me in Appleton, Wisconsin. And a huge thanks to Rachel Hoffman. Rachel Hoffman runs Turn of the Century Antiques and is the creator of the Virtual Doll Convention. And this allows us to share dolls with people throughout the USA and throughout the world. So we have people that we can share our beloved hobby with. I'd also like to thank my husband, who is the technical guy behind this video, and also he has been always so supportive of my doll collecting. So I'd really like to thank Andy Miller for being so supportive and letting some of my dolls escape from the doll room. Okay, well, I hope that I might see you again. Bye for now. I'm going to go back and play with some of my dolls. Bye-bye.